morning, everybody. It's Sally, and I'm here to greenlight my day. It is an unusual way to greenlight, but you know what? That's what it's all about. Janie says we're supposed to be greenlighting where we're at in the moment for the day, and it can take a lot of different turns. This morning I woke up and had a message from an old friend who is going through something that I have been through. She is sitting at the bedside of her mother, accompanying her on her journey to the next place as far as she can go. And it has been weeks and weeks, and she's tired. And she said she remembered that I had written a eulogy of sorts when my mother passed. It was pretty much a summary of the overall experience for the first time of the sacred privilege that it is to be there at the end of a person's life, to accompany them as far as we are allowed, to help them in that journey by being present, by being as involved as we can on whatever plane we can be involved, and not something to be dreaded, feared. It's a profound life experience, and you are, as difficult as it is, the richer for it as a human being when you have the opportunity to be a part of a person's passage. I would say it is equally as important as the process of birth and all the things that go into the gestation period up into the moment of passing through the birth canal and breathing a new breath in a new world. It is exactly the same to be with someone who's passing. We are spirit, and we are held in this form. This is the car that we drive. This is the house we live in. But this is only one of our forms, in one of our, I don't want to say gestation was the word that wanted to come out, but gestation, I guess if you consider life as one long process of gestation, then this is just one of the forms of our gestation. The first form of our gestation were tiny little cells that started to duplicate and replicate. Not duplicate, replicate. No, maybe not replicate. This is sounding a little different. Anyway, you know what I mean. Multiply. And that was one form. That was one of our gestations in that other world that we were in. And then we had to leave that world because we grew too big for that world. That dark, safe place. We grew too big. And we had to take part in the passageway through the canal, through the tunnel, into a place where we're breathing oxygen in this form. And in this form, gestates along from early new life experience, growth, stretching, joy, all the wonders that being a human being brings, until there's another season, and that season is when we're passing, when we are moving back into another kind of dark canal, birth canal of a place, to be rebirthed to the next place. And the next place will leave behind this form, this gestation. But we don't really know what the next one will be. And that can be unsettling for people. And it all depends on what you believe. I mean, let's take this all for granted. I'm coming from a perspective that believes that we are spirit and that we will be released from this coil and be free. And whatever that other world looks like, none of us really know, because we have finite human minds. We have glimpses of it, of the divine, and glimpses of eternity, but we are filtering that through human understanding. So she asked me today to send her the piece that I wrote. I can't find it. So I wanted to just share a little bit about that today. being present with a person who is close to your heart or even not close to your heart, someone, it just depends, but it's a sacred privilege, a sacred privilege. You are like being the midwife. Just as much as at a birth you had a midwife, if you had one, or that kind of a concept, you are the midwife standing diligently, helping that loved one through the process. Do you grieve? Yes. Is there grief that you're losing someone you're not going to have in that same form to speak to again, or hold, or hug, or embrace? Yes. But let me tell you some of the things that help you. My sisters were there when my mother was dying, actively dying. I had just gone home, it was right after the holidays, and I said, I will be back in the next couple of days and visit with you when there's not so much hubbub around. But she fell into a deeper place right after we left. I mean, my sister was living in the house, my other sister lived in the neighborhood, so basically they were right there, I went right back down. And what we did for several days was just love on my mother. We massaged her skin with the most beautiful scented lotions, and we would brush her teeth, and she was not conscious. She would have glimpses. I mean, you would see things occasionally, you'd think, but eventually those different passageways, those different points that you go through, she became more quiet, more still. Then you've got, it's a privilege to sit there. We played music, soft, beautiful music. We kept the whole experience as calm and tranquil as possible. My sister would read scripture to her while she was in that place, because it meant something to our family. We encouraged her. We could tell she'd woken up a couple times earlier that before this happened and said she'd seen her sister who'd passed away. She'd seen her parents. So see, this is very common. And then you have midwives. The real midwives are the hospice workers who help you work through and understand what you're seeing. They recognize we read the literature, so you recognize the parts that show you where the body is shutting down, because this form has to shut down to release the real person, the person's essence, their spirit. It is not an easy thing. Lots of emotions to say goodbye. Lots of things you say that you need to say. If you get a chance to say them, it's a great privilege. So I said goodbye. I said, please, no, I thought you were a great mom. I know we had our problems, but I loved you and I know you did. So that's the point. I was a changed person after that experience. I would never see death the same way. People that fear death, I don't fear it. It will be sad to say goodbye, but there's something beautiful just around the corner. I have to believe that. But I don't live my life today just waiting for the beauty and wonder of the next life. I want to enjoy this life. The next one will come soon enough. I send my love to everyone who is understanding what it's like to lose someone, or in the process of losing someone. Give yourself to the process. Bless that person. Let them know that they can leave, that their work here is done, their time here is their turn for something so much more grand, so much more glorious than we can even imagine. There's a scripture that I really love, and I cannot quote exactly what chapter and verse. I want to tell you, I think it's in Romans. But it talks about, I'm not going to say this right. This season, this trial, just the life in general, or difficulties in our lives, is preparing us for a weight of glory beyond all comprehension. And that weight of glory being so full that it's heavy, is beyond our minds to comprehend. How can we not want that for our loved ones? Because I believe everyone has a chance to receive that kind of glorious new life, whatever form that takes. I believe that when they're crossing over through that passageway, they have another chance to think about whatever they didn't think about before. I have to believe that. The God I love is a God of love, and He is gracious and merciful beyond all our human comprehension. This is how I've greenlighted my day. I wish you all very well, and my heart is with my friend and all those who are walking alongside in that sacred, sacred season of accompanying someone we love to the next doorway, the next opening along their journey. See ya.